My 30M, wife 31F, doesn't appreciate my bees. I'm considering divorce. What should I do? My wife 31F and I 30M have been married for 5 years now. I work mainly in accounting and personal finance advice while my wife is a math teacher at our local high school. Recently, I have been researching and preparing to start a bee colony as I have been interested in bees for a long time and have recently reached a place financially where both me and my wife are able to pay bills and have bees. Before I did anything, I spoke with my wife about my research and planned to get the bees. At first, she had some apprehensions, but we talked through them. Once we were both on the same page, I found an artificial beehive and contacted a professional beekeeper to help with the bee process, and so I began my bee journey. A week or two later, my wife comes home while I'm making dinner and tells me she invited a few work friends, all 31F, over for dinner tomorrow. I say that's fine and continue making dinner until she requests that I move my beehive. The exchange went something like this. Wife, while I clean the house, would you mind moving your hive? It's an eyesore. Me, I'm sorry, but what do you mean by eyesore? It's outside and has plenty of distance between itself and the house. Wife, I know, but I want it further back. It doesn't match the house, and I don't want my work friends thinking I let this house go into chaos when I'm not around. At this point, I had finished dinner and was setting up the table when I asked her, why is this an issue now? Didn't we agree on the placement before I even got the hive? And besides, it's hard to move a hive once it's been placed. What were you thinking of moving it? She responded that she didn't care, she just didn't want to see it. After that, we sat down for dinner, and I asked again where she wanted me to move the hive, stating that the closest forest wasn't on our property and the second option would be by the back porch. My wife repeated her answer that she didn't care, she just didn't want to see it, and we continued on as normal. We ate, we cleaned the house in preparation, did our respective nighttime routines, and went to bed. The next day, my wife and I wake up around 5 o'clock a.m., do our morning routines, eat breakfast, and head to work. Around 4 o'clock, my wife calls me while I'm still at work. The high school gets done around 3 o'clock. I excuse myself from a conversation I was having with a coworker, and I go to a quiet corner of the break room. I pick up and my wife starts screaming at me that I didn't move the hive and now her work friends have to see my hideous beehive. I try and get her to calm down by apologizing and saying I forgot and that I can drive over and move it quick. My wife cuts me off and says it's too late and she'll do it herself before she hangs up. I'm standing in the break room confused and angry, so I try and focus on my work and deal with it later. I get home that night to my wife sitting at the table reading her book. She welcomes me home and I ask about her day. She says it was good, a little stressful, but nothing I couldn't handle. I then decide to bite the bullet and ask about the hive and how she handled it. Wife, oh yeah, your bees, I almost forgot. It was hard moving the beehive because the bees kept stinging me, so when I tried to set it down, it fell and broke, so I left it there because it is your hive after all. Me, you broke my hive? How long has it been sitting like that? Wife, it's been like that since I called you. I looked out of the window to see my hive laying on the ground. Parts of the walls were broken as well as the legs and other crucial parts of the hive. When I took a step outside to get a closer look, I saw my bees flying around unsure of where to go. I called the beekeeper contact and asked for a description of the damage. When I told him, he said that there isn't much he can do, but he'll call a friend to try and fix the things they can. I thanked him, hung up the phone, and walked back inside feeling defeated. When I re-entered the house, I walked upstairs, not even glancing at my wife. I took a shower and cried. My dream of having a beehive of my own was gone, and there wasn't much I could do. When I got out of the shower, my wife was already in bed. I crawled in next to her and laid awake for hours questioning our relationship, and if she really loves me, why didn't she leave the hive alone? I have been contemplating divorce as I realized that after she destroyed my hive, she has never once apologized, nor does she seem empathetic in the slightest. I tried asking for an apology, and all I got was, why should I apologize for doing you a favor? I never asked for an apology since, and I'm wondering how I never noticed this behavior from her before, and I don't know what to do. Deep down, I still love her, but she also can't understand why I'm so upset. What should I do? TLDR. My wife of 5 years destroyed my dream beehive, never apologized, and sees it as a favor. What should I do?
My 38F husband, 39M, hid having lunch with a coworker, 25F, and said my food was tasteless. What do I do? I want this to be quick. I feel really weird about this, and I'm on the verge of asking for a separation. So I've been with my husband for 15 years, married for 11. Amazing relationship, small bumps of course, but nothing like this. I've always made lunch for my husband to take to work, and up until a little over a month ago that was fine. Middle of March, he said that a new Turkish food stand opened up outside of his office and that he had been eating lunches there instead because they were good. All right, no problem. So he just completely stopped asking for lunches. I had maybe packed 5 during this time frame for him, but I'm not even sure he was eating them now. So on Thursday I was at home working and I had a phone call from him. Thought he was calling during his lunch, but he had dialed me instead. At first I didn't hear much, just him talking to someone, and I was about to hang up until I heard a woman's voice as well. I wouldn't say I'm a jealous person, but I was a little bit curious, so I muted my call at work and listened. It was just standard conversation at first. He was praising this woman's cooking a lot, which of course made me realize that he was eating lunch this coworker made. I was a bit peeved, but there's an explanation, sure. Although that went out the fucking window when she said, "Is it better than your wife's?" To which he replied, "Oh yeah, without a doubt. I mean, it's not tasteless for a start," followed by laughing. First of all, what the fuck is that supposed to mean? 15 years of cooking and now he has a complaint, and not even to me but some coworker. Also, that absolutely isn't innocent on her end, right? I'm not crazy in thinking that's so weird. Why even bring me up? Anyway, I raised hell, ended the call, sent him a message not to worry about my tasteless cooking anymore, and that he can eat from the bin from now on. He's apologized, said that he loves my food and was just trying to seem cool in front of his coworker. I asked why he lied about where he was getting lunch from, and he said that initially he did get it from that stand, but the coworker started offering and he didn't want to tell me because he thought that I would get jealous. Yeah, can you blame me? So I've been airing him since. I'm still pissed, to be honest. I haven't made him lunch or dinner, only for myself since he said that he dislikes it so much. He said today that he's apologized and that I shouldn't keep punishing him, but I'm literally an inch from going to my mom's. I have a suitcase with my clothes packed under our bed ready. Dad thinks it was a stupid comment, but that I should work it out. Mom is on my side regardless of my decision. I'm thinking about leaving for a few days at least, maybe a separation, but I honestly just want some reassurance if that's what's best here. My 26M husband wants a divorce but wants to stay with me. 26F. We've been married 6 years and have a 4-year-old son. Thoughts or advice? We separated 2 years ago. My son and I moved back to my home state, and with my parents. We were constantly fighting before I left and it got really bad, so he told me he wanted a divorce. I was very hurt emotionally when I left and had a lot of mental health issues / of everything he put me through. I accept I am also at fault for our problems. As I was healing, he reached out to me and wanted to get back together. At first, I refused, but I eventually gave him a chance. During this time, he found out that I reported him for not providing financial support. He's military and obligated to provide for his family since we were still married. So he was forced to send me a set amount each month. He was soon to be deployed and I wanted to make sure he helped me with our son before he left. He was hurt, so I eventually filed for divorce and sent him the paperwork for him to sign while he was deployed. He was the one in a hurry to divorce. I told him I would wait till he returned. He never signed it and we began talking again and healing together. The case was dropped due to no progression. He returned a year ago and we've still been separated. He's selling the house and moving back here closer to my son and I next month. We've grown so much and have gotten to a really good place, but we still have occasional fights. I have trust issues and become paranoid about many things, so this also causes fights. Because of this, he suggests that we divorce but stay together and keep trying. He says marriage is only a legal obligation and it shouldn't matter. He prefers to do it before it gets any worse between us. He wants to protect himself financially / he doesn't want me going after any new house he buys. He also wants to make sure he gets time with our son and that it is legally written down. I was originally fighting for full physical custody and possible supervised visitation / he was an alcoholic and never watched him. I've seen him get better and agree that he has every right to have his time with our son. I also understand a boy needs his father. He claims this is for me / say it will show me that he truly loves me and cares for me. That this will help me see that he'll always be here for me even though there's no legal obligation, like giving me more assurance. Thinks it might be better for us and we could also live our lives separately but still be together. I don't agree with this and told him if we divorce he's going to lose me / say I will not keep trying. He says he'll keep trying anyways. I'll always care for him, but I prefer to co-parent and move on and be single instead. I see this only causing more issues for me and can't help but think he's just been manipulating me into getting a better outcome in divorce. Anyone agree with him and could give me more perspective to this? I feel like I deserve better. He still calls me like nothing's changed and tells me he misses me and checks on me, which is very confusing for me.